Everybody, I'm Liz Larson, and this is Bill McKenna.
Hi.
And we're the co-creators of the Cognomovement system, and we're talking about our brand new practitioner program. And it's got Bill and I thinking about all the ways that people have used Cognomovement, the way that practitioners have used it with their clients, the way people have used it for themselves, because it's a big question we get, will this work for me? So what are some of the things that you've seen, like near miraculous changes in people, Bill?
Well, it is it's happening every day and has been happening that way for years now. It runs the gamut of things that people utilize it for. So you start with the physical body and what I would call hard to solve problems with the body, like there's no explanation for it. For example, somebody had multiple surgeries in a particular area and chronic pain in an area, basically making that go away by having the person focus on it and do the exercises. That would be one example. Chronic thoughts, right, where they're just repetitive. I can't help how I feel. Example, looping thoughts. The type of addictive type of feelings that somebody has, the fame, money, feelings of being isolated by their family or feeling like they are victimized. These type of things are somewhat typical for Cognomovement users, that we help the customers not only with the downside, the problem, but also the upside of life, like getting themselves a brand new car. We've had, the list of cars just keeps growing. Porsches, Teslas, you name it, people manifesting. And the way it works is they're blowing away those thoughts and ideas and the blockages that are keeping them from manifesting their desires. I've had a few actresses that have literally they've gone from the small stage to the grand global stage through this. It's amazing how when you change what your desire is. In this particular case, it was fame for some people, and it was like snapping your fingers, and the spotlight was on them. So it's not something that I so desire, but for them, that was it. This is just one example. I know that this has happened with everything from relationships, like, romantic relationships, to family relationships, to everybody, the getting your body into shape, getting your body to do things that it couldn't do before, to the very highest of performance. We've had people who step up athletically and like crazy make just ridiculous advancements.
And that is so true. And I want to just take a moment because people are like, well, how in the world could that happen? Cognomovement works in your nervous system. That's what we do. The electromagnetic hormonal patterns that the body is sending constantly, we adjust those. We make changes in them so that the new pattern generates a much more positive life. So with athletic performance specifically, or getting your body to change, think about it. How does the body learn to move in the first place? Practice. It's actually getting the body to receive the signal that the brain is sending. I want to walk. A little one sees people walk and they know they want to do it. So they keep sending the signal. And the signal practices and practices until the body responds. Well, Bill and I just figured out a hack for this, a way that we can have the body instantly respond to the new signal. The body usually has to learn, and we teach it within seconds. So because of this, and it works the same for perspective, chronic thoughts, cravings, like Bill said, we teach the body instantly the new signal, and the body responds instantly and accepts the new signal. So it's a fascinating, really fun modality to watch, because you get to see people transform instantly in front of your eyes. I want to talk just a little bit more about chronic thoughts and chronic mood issues. Cogno movement works amazing for this because it's the same thing. It's the thought, the brain, and the body interacting with each other. We often think that it's the brain that sends the thought in the first place. What we know now, it's really the nervous system, a practiced series of feelings that the body generates, in response to life, and sends a signal to the brain. And the brain says, oh, okay, we feel bad about that, so let's think badly about it. And then the brain has a thought and sends it back to the body, and we go round and round. Cogno movement has this amazing ability to not only break that pattern, break that signal, but generate a new one. Have the body and brain see a brand new perspective. Now, think about how hard it is, Bill, to change your perspective on something. You just can't change people's minds. It's like arguing with a terrorist or a toddler. With Cogno movement, because we're actually working with all the hemispheres, both hemispheres of the brain, all the brain's perspectives, all the electromagnetic signals, the entire body and the field around it, we can create these changes. The amount of marriages that Cogno movement has saved is incredible, because that's one of those examples, right, Bill, of I do this, you do that, you do this, I do that. We get in these patterns. We can break those patterns. We can change how the couple interacts, right?
Yes. And one of the great things that I've seen is, and the best way I can describe it is, Cogno movement gives you access to your subconscious. We have people within minutes where we utilize their body to access the subconscious, and it will find the root issue. And within moments, you will know, oh, this is the cause of it. And I also know the solution. And with that, the body responds and the issue, poof, goes away.
So let's share a story about that, Bill. We had during a practitioner training, one of our amazing practitioners who had a belief about her mother her whole life, that her mother was not there for her. And with this very unique technique that we use, that Bill's talking about, that finds the problem and the solution at the same time, she was able to see really what happened, the actual slides, the actual real memories, because our memories are so corrupted, of that her mom was physically there at all of her games, at all of her events, at all of her performances. Now, she may not have been there as emotionally as she wanted, but her mom had since passed. And this ability to see it all, the problem and the solution, her belief and the reality, changed everything for her, about how she felt about herself, about how she felt about her mom, about how she felt about these relationships. And it was a snap of a finger. Watching it was one of the most amazing things we've ever seen. But that's how quickly that change can happen with these processes, right?
Yes. Yeah, it happens that fast. So it is really, being a practitioner, it's like having like a superpower.
It is, right?
Being able to help people through problems they had no idea. I had one woman who had a lot of problems with her voice and thyroid and voice. And anyway, we had actually found through this technique that it went back to her history. She was an African American, and she had never considered that it was the slavery ancestors that experienced those horrors. And as soon as we did the technique and we got the access to the subconscious, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't say anything or I'll be whipped, that sort of thing. And then the solution, right, automatically came, and poof, it all went away. And she said she felt like this whole expansion in her throat and her thyroid area. So it's very quick, and these techniques are really significant for the people who end up getting them done on them.
It's true. And, I want to talk about two other things that Cognomovement can do that are amazing. And they're not, one of them you might think of, the other you might not. And they're two G's: grief and goals. Cognomovement works amazingly for grief because grief becomes a pattern in the body. We've learned how we should handle grief. It also matches many things that our body has learned in the past. And then it can create suffering that can last for years. And we discovered that that's extraordinarily unnecessary, that grief can be transformed instantly in the body to allow a person to then just experience love for what they've lost, or take the experience. I mean, grief isn't always just a loss of a human. It can be a loss of a business. It can be a loss of youth even. We have these experiences, but they're really just neurological patterns that can be changed now when you choose. So grief is a huge one that Cognomovement can help very, very quickly. The other G is goals. How in the world can a movement exercise change how goals happen? Just like Bill was saying with his people that really created fame for themselves. Goals, we do them or don't because we're held in a certain pattern. We get up in the morning and we do this and we think that, and our body goes down the road. And as much as we want to create change, we kind of become a slave to these patterns in our bodies. Well, Cognomovement can change that pattern as easily as any other pattern. So as Bill was saying, we have people who have created real estate deals. That was their goal instantly. We have people who have created change in their body, weight loss, addiction changes, craving changes. I mean, every kind of goal that you could even think up, Cognomovement has helped someone achieve because it just simply changes their perspective, their ability to utilize their body's own natural energy. It creates a form of motivation that nothing else does. So with goals, Cognomovement's just massive. It also really helps with learning. It's extraordinarily good for students because we work so much in harmonizing all the utilizing of the brain. We allow the body to be used and the brain to be used so fully that students, even with learning disabilities, behavioral issues, really change what learning is for themselves. So that's huge. The list goes on, Bill. Like we could talk for 3 hours.
Yeah, yes.
But this is a pretty comprehensive list. If you're a practitioner out there who would like to add this kind of a toolbox to what you're already doing, click the link below and consider joining our practitioner program. This practitionership round this year will be dedicated to professionals. But if you're not already a practitioner, that's okay too. You can still get in the program, but it is geared towards professionals, people who already have a business and who already are practitioners, because it's being delivered at such a high level.
By practitioners, we mean psychotherapists, psychologists, nurse, that sort of thing.
Physical therapists. Yeah, that's right. All right, Bill. Thanks so much for this. Is so much fun to talk about all the things, right? We
Yeah.
can't even list them all in this short time. So, you guys, if you want to spend more time with me and Bill and you want to talk about this more, please join us at cognomovement.com and consider becoming a Cogno Movement certified practitioner.